Welcome to Rhinos and Aliens.
But everything's better though, right?
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, I think they have a better setup than we do, definitely.
I just find it funny that they. So that was still an 8.5 hour day for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I got 48 hours in
4 days,
Mhm.
and they're short. They're quote unquote short routes.
Mhm.
It's still after 4.
Yeah.
Is it like Syracuse to where it's just very busy, and they also have a lot of people, or is it busy because they don't have a lot of people?
It's busy, and it's also because they don't have a lot of people. It's literally both of those combined. Because they're right now, I think he told me they're at like 12 people, 10 people.
Okay.
But they're supposed to be at like 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's a massive market then.
Yeah, he said they already got like 150 reschedules for this quarter. Damn. Yeah. But they cover a lot. They drive out pretty fucking far too. Not like as far as us in one trip, but like they'll go.
Is it like those 30-minute drives type of thing?
Probably about 40, 50 minutes between. There's at one point they did it twice to me on my second last day and my last day, where they had me go east.
Okay.
The first stop, and then the next stop go completely west. So it was like east 40 minutes.
So that zigzagging.
And then west like an hour 40.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But then after that it was like 40 minutes between each stop. That seemed like a constant. It was about 40 minutes between each stop.
So it's not like us where we might have like 2.5 hour drives, but because of the distance between.
Yes.
Got it.
But they're easy stops, more or less. It really just depends on how you see it. But I mean, none of my days were like super hard. So.
Okay.
Nah, shit. None of them were even hard, bro. They were all easy.
How are the houses there in terms of getting
Same as ours.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
So the pre-assembled suck?
Yep. There was one, bro. There was one we struggled. This dude, he had an older sleep number, and he thought it all came because they just started doing pre-assembled as well over there.
Oh,
so
okay.
he thought it came like like the boxes and shit, and we're like, nah, you got a pre-assembled. Some of them come pre-assembled, some of them don't, like us. But he had a pre-assembled king, and it was going like to the attic. And as you can imagine,
how many floors for this attic? Second or third?
It was the second floor.
Okay.
It was a mattress only, but the stairway, bro, it was unimaginably tight.
And that's a perfect example where that's the rare case where the boxes
would have been a million times better. It probably took us like 15 minutes to get that bed up there. Because it was just we had to let air out of both sides of the bed.
It was that tight?
And we had to completely fold it. Yeah, and it was still too tight. We had to literally, the dude, Jacob,
How
was like,
thin was this freaking...
Bro, it was, dude, I'm trying to think of, okay, your aunt's house?
Yes.
Getting to her attic?
Yes.
It was smaller than that. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine the tightness of her stairway. So her stairway is very tight. And then... but you know how she has all that vertical space?
Yeah.
There's no vertical space. There's a ceiling there.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a turn. It wasn't a straight shot.
Oh, yeah. And how, was it a 90-degree turn?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
But the Queens, their house, their city, I think you'll enjoy the way their city is built because it's very interesting.
Just old school interesting or just character interesting?
Character interesting. Like a lot of their shit resembles our city, like the west side and the east side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's a much larger city than Buffalo. At least it feels much larger. Like their downtown fucking huge.
Really?
Yeah. You know how like in Buffalo we got a couple skyscrapers, like maybe like 4, 5, not even. Right? They probably got like 15, 20 over there.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of big-ass buildings.
And technically our downtown is a few streets when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's not big at all. That's why I said you go there, it's big. The only thing that sucks, too, is their traffic isn't great. It's okay until it's obviously getting out of work.
Okay, so is most of the deliveries in the city or the suburbs?
For me, it was the suburbs. I think I only did like 2 deliveries inside the city. Actually, no, it was one delivery, one trial return.
Okay. No, I was only asking because I was wondering if it's like Syracuse to where most of their deliveries aren't even in Syracuse. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much what it felt like. We were going to a lot of places. There's actually one place that I thought was pretty cool that I wish I could deliver to, is they have a stop where they have to take a ferry to an island to deliver there. Yeah. And it's like an hour and a half to get there. And then the ferry is like
so
30 minutes.
literally you have to put the truck on a ferry to get there?
Yeah. And they can only take the transit because it's under the weight limit.
Is it this like a mini is it an island or?
It's like it's an island. It's an island, definitely an island.
So you did that once?
No, I wanted to.
Oh.
I just thought it'd be cool to get on a ferry.
No, that's...
They say usually when that happens, though, they only do like 1 or 2 stops to go there.
Well, I guess that makes sense because what you said, it was... Is the ferry an hour or just getting there?
No, getting there is about an hour and a half. The ferries, I think, is only like 30 minutes. But it's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, and then an hour and a half drive back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that
that's...
go there, deliver it. And then...
That would be a fun off day.
Yeah, but then also... A lot of your deliveries depend on if the ferry,
Is
if
even
if
on
something
that
happens,
day.
yeah. If something happens, it's running late, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? Breaks down, God forbid, then there's too much trouble. So I assume they just don't schedule a lot of routes that day. Or a lot of stops on your route that day.
Did you try any of the local food?
Just like fast food,
Okay.
like local fast food over there. Like I said, by the time I got out,
Yeah, it was just so late.
yeah, there was a place right across from the hotel called the Macaroni Grill.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, try that out. I go in there, it's all Italian food. What they fail to mention, it's called Romano's Macaroni Grill. So it was like all Italian food. And I just had like a chicken parm. It was decent.
Okay.
Had Raising Cane's for the first time.
What's that?
It's like a chicken finger place, chicken
Okay.
tender place, I guess would be a more proper term.
Okay.
But they have like a cane sauce, which is like their specialty. It was very good.
Okay.
Let me think, what else did I eat? There's a place called the Brick House, and I had like a piece of brisket from there. That was pretty good. Besides that, I just went to places like I went to Chili's.
Okay. So just...
Yeah, I went to Chili's. I went to Red Lobster. Just trying to spend the money.
Yeah.
I went to Chili's. I bought like the smokehouse platter.
Yo, it's hard to spend $60 if you're not going to a fancy...
Yeah, dude. I went to Chili's. I got the smokehouse platter. It was $25, and I just tipped the frickin'. And it wasn't. I didn't even like eat there. I got it to go, and I just tipped the girl $25. I tipped her the remainder because I'm like, I'm not going to eat again.
I feel you.
She's
Well, you
like-
might as well because if you don't do it, they're going to keep
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'd rather give it to somebody and have
Yeah.
them use it because I mean,
That's what Mark was doing.
yeah.
Or that's what he said he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, somebody gets the money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it.
And if it's as bad as you say down there, economy-wise, she must have been fucking psyched.
Yeah. She's like, are you sure? I was like, I already wrote it down. It's done. Signed my name, gave you the tip, it's done. But people out there are pretty nice too. But like I said, I only worked with 2 people while I was out there though.
Okay.
A dude named Jason. He's in like his mid-30s. Cool dude.
How are all the workers, though? Is
Very
it,
chill. Very chill. Like
Okay.
no one, at least, like I said, I only worked with 2 of them, but I, interacted
But
with most of them.
but did they all seem like hard workers and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they just want to come in, get the job done, go home.
Okay.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one dude, if you get paired with Jacob, he's that type of person. Like he just, boom, 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 he wants to get out of there. But he's not like rushing. He just does the job. He's not there for the bullshit.
Okay, good.
Jason kind of is there for the bullshit. He likes to, he's a good worker, but he likes to, he'll get into conversations with the customer about how beautiful the house is and stuff. Which I'm like, me, I don't give a fuck. I don't have to talk to the customer, so go right ahead.
Yeah.
What's nice though too is when you go there, you don't really have to worry about shit. You gotta, because if you're with the helper, because I think they have 2 or 3 helpers.
Okay.
If you're with them, then you have to drive and you have to explain the app because they're not technicians technically. They're literally just there to help you build the shit and throw out the garbage and shit like that.
Are all the helpers because they were demoted or they were hired as helpers?
I think one of them was hired as a helper. No. I think they were because they're demoted. Because like I said, out there, one speeding ticket, And it's like DOT. It's something weird. He said it's like it's not Sleep Number Sleep Number demotes them, but it demotes them because DOT.
So the DOT is different in Ohio or something?
I maybe, but it's like if you get one speeding ticket out there, you get 9 points. They were telling me, and if you get 9 points, you got to get demoted. From
Dude, I just
technician.
think it's wild. You get demoted 25% of your pay.
Yeah, but then they say you got to wait 6 months. Then you actually have to reapply to be a technician too. But I mean, why wouldn't they hire you? You already know how to do the job, obviously, right?
Yeah, but there's weirdest stuff that's happened at companies.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sleep Number, although we have helpers, Sleep Number actually prefers to have technicians because then you guys are on even ground. It's weird when you and your partner are working and you're not on even ground. You know what I'm saying?
Because technically you're above them, even though
he's making 15. I'm making fucking $23 an hour.
Yeah,
I'm making $8 more an hour than him, and all I'm doing is driving and showing the app.
And then
Not fair at
also,
all.
just imagine once you got into the OT, that gap is even wider.
Yep. And I didn't have to scan anything because for some reason I couldn't sign into Cleveland's Envision. So I didn't have to scan shit, and I didn't have to do returns because I can't sign into Envision for Cleveland. So I
but would you
didn't
even have to
nothing.
do? I was going to ask you this too. Who's in charge of? Because normally you end up doing that because you're the quote unquote lead. But
Everyone does their own returns there.
okay,
Yeah, that's very nice.
yeah, it is.
We had a headboard delivery, and dude, the headboard, we took it out, and I don't know what the fuck happened because the box was fine, but the entire bottom of the headboard was caved in. Like somebody had hit it with a fucking bat, but worse.
So almost similar to how that one adjustable where we didn't touch anything and it was that one part was caved in. Do you remember that?
No.
How we didn't hit a wall or anything, but
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, it was worse than that though. It was literally like flat, and then it was like that. I don't know what happened, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, we're gonna have to send you out, but it was nice because I didn't have to build. And she had the whole footboard and all that shit. And they also call things differently down there. Instead of saying headboard, footboard, they say headboard and surround.
well, technically it is.
No, but they just say it differently. It's still accurate. It just says this, and they don't call it hex kits. I was like,
So what do
I was
they
like,
call
so
it?
we have 2 hex kits, and they just say mattress only. If you say hose kit, they'll know what you're talking about. But if you say hex kit, they didn't know what I was talking about. And I'm like, well, it's called a power hex kit. It's literally a power hex cable kit. That's what
I
it's
was about
called.
to say, isn't that what's in the training actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I mean, it's not that far off. But they're cool. I'm telling you, they're really cool people. They have a trainer out there.
Okay.
CFT. Cool dude. Everyone there was mad chill, mad cool. So
Well, that's good.
my only complaint about the entire trip was the hotel, bro.
The hotel.
Yeah, and I don't even mind. Like I said, you know, I'm not really like I'm not a super clean freak because it's not my job to clean the hotel, so I don't give a fuck. But that bed is what killed me, bro. That bed was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever laid on, and I slept on a futon for years.
I'm just prepared to just sleep on the floor. Hotel mattresses just, because to me, even if it's a high quality bed, normally they go for the soft ones.
Yeah, they go for plush.
Yeah.
I want to know what he's laughing at.
Is it something we said or is it?
I don't know. No. He's
Oh,
looking
okay.
at memes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. When I was in Syracuse, the hotel I was at, that mattress was fucking phenomenal. But yeah,
Really?
no, be prepared to sleep on the floor.
Yeah. That's what I did when they sent me out for the Air Force because it was an overnight thing, so they set you up in a hotel and stuff. It's just like, this is too.
And it wasn't even like, I don't care if a mattress is firm or soft. I can have either or as long as it's comfortable. This thing just was uncomfortable as fuck.
It was a shitty mattress.
Yeah, it was just shitty. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much they paid for it, but they paid too much. You could have paid, I wouldn't pay $100 for that mattress. I wouldn't even pay $50. I would throw that mattress out. That's how bad it was.
How do you feel about sensitive, full of shit fucks?
I don't know what that means. Explain.
Okay, so just like let's break it down. Sensitive.
Full of shit fucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
They're people who are very not necessarily emotional because everybody's emotional. That's not insane.
People who are sensitive.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then they're also full of shit.
Okay, so a sensitive liar, basically.
Yeah.
But then what is the fucks part?
They're just
Oh, like they're fucks.
yeah, they're fucks.
Oh, like that. That's their personality.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So a sensitive, full of shit, piece of shit. Got you, right? That's basically it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what do you mean? How do I feel about them? I don't have many encounters with them. But if I had to say, I wouldn't like them, obviously.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is because because obviously you're saying it's different out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a New York thing, whatever it is. Why is it so consistent that more or less, besides the rare exceptions, there's people that they fall into two camps, and the notes I specifically have is that they're either two-faced fucks
Okay. You two-faced fuck.
or they're just straight up scummy fucks.
You scummy fuck.
So it's just either people just can literally look you in the eye and completely lie to you about how they view you or whatever, or they're just straight up they're just trying to take advantage of you.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And I know people say, "Oh, it's like that here, it's like that there," but it just seems next level here.
It's because it's New York, baby. It's because you're not wearing your Timbs. I feel like New York definitely has the mentality where you got to be tougher. You know what I'm saying?
But at the same time,
Well,
they want to pass all these laws where we support each other. It just the messaging never lines up.
don't look at me. I'm just saying. But I believe when you're from New York, I believe, like I said, we have a what's the word? A reputation
Of being tough, yeah.
being tough,
Specifically New York City.
But the problem is, people don't know how to be tough. They got fake toughness.
Well, I was about to say, you could be tough without being fake and without being scummy.
Yeah. But people don't understand that. That's how people act when they, that's why I said they're fake tough, because they're scummy.
Like they're basically a wankster,
Yeah, whatever that means.
wannabe gangster.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, honestly, that's
Yeah.
what it feels like. Because I mean, be honest, we're from New York, right? We spend most of our life here. Not New York City, but
Well, all the true tough people, you would either they don't promote it or you would never know.
yeah. But like I said, how many real gangsters have you met? Very few, right?
Real, yeah, very few. And those
How
are
many wanksters have you met?
I feel it seems like every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But the funny part is the three true gangsters I know of, they're quote unquote the most polite / kindest, dopest
Yeah, because I'm
individuals I've met.
because of a truly, I think a truly, like, I don't want to say tough, but someone who has gone through a bunch of shit and still remains tough. They
Yeah.
know that it's there's no need to be tough first. You give what you get.
Well, the great thing about that is that ever since the pandemic, I've realized how much nothing matters, if that makes sense.
You've joined the club. Good.
Well, I've always agreed with you on that point,
Mm-hmm.
but now I agree with you about the complaining aspect of it.
I mean, like I said, I've always kind of believed. It's not that nothing matters. It's just that if you dig down deep enough, deep, really deep, and you think about your future, then nothing else matters. Because it's like you can walk out and die.
Oh, literally, we could die at any moment.
Yeah, we could be hit by a fucking plane right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or the
all
trains.
that planning, all that stuff you did yesterday and 3 weeks ago,
It really doesn't matter.
No, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
nothing really matters. You can plan as much as you want, but it's just a game, not for us. But You know, we're the avatars here.
Yeah, I
But
You-
I think there's a certain a power once you realize that. Because then you could, you don't have to sit there and be nervous to do something. Because a week from now, nobody's going to remember what you did most of the time.
yeah.
And if not a week, give it a year. Give it 2-3 years. No one's going to remember. They just waiting for the next big thing, next big fuck up. So there's no point in being. It's not. There's no point. Certain emotions can give you an edge. But like I said, a year from now, if you were nervous to do that interview, it didn't matter. You got the job or you didn't.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that unless the situation is threatening your well being,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying I get nervous, but that's when the emotion still hits me. But for example, you know that one Chipotle employee
Yep.
I consistently tell you about?
Yep.
Dude, she's been ranting. I don't even know the story because I don't care to know the story, but it's just she's been literally at least once every weekend for the past 4 weeks now talking about how this dude, to some degree, basically picked another Chipotle employee who looks better than her over her.
Okay.
He's quote unquote a player because he's talking to multiple women, and he just happened to talk to 2 Chipotle employees who work together, and somehow they found out, et cetera, et cetera. And it brings me back first and foremost. You remember the time when we were in our teens and young 20s,
Sure.
and we more so myself than you, but we cared about how a female did us dirty. It's like they were. Why talk to me and make it seem like you're interested in me when you're actually talking to these other men? And in principle, that is a shady concept.
Yeah, it is.
But
no matter if you're a female or a male.
Yes, and I will always stand by like you're a scummy person. But now I no longer, as you've said, whenever I'm mad, it has nothing to do with anything besides our future now.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm mad. Well, in terms of like why I stay mad or I stay in a zone that is not. I think I'm more positive than I was before.
I think so too.
So whenever I'm not in that quote unquote Francis positivity,
Uh-huh.
it's because there's a step back to the goal.
Uh-huh.
When it's long term, like if it's in the moment, it's like okay,
It'll pass.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to say is she won't let this go, and it just brought me back to Victoria. But at least with the Victoria situation, I never got the answer. There was never
Yeah, there was no closure.
no resolution, right?
Yeah.
With her, the answer is literally I don't care if I was 16 or when I'm 26. I can see. You're mad because he picked the more attractive female.
Uh-huh.
But because you're quote unquote fake close to the employee, your coworker,
The other female?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
quote unquote close.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit to her and to yourself. It's like, oh, you got passed up for the better female, physically speaking. And she's blaming the man, making it seem like all these things. And it's just, you know what the answer is. Or you should know what the answer is. But you keep complaining about this, bringing this up. And it's just...
She doesn't have to acknowledge it. She don't want to face the truth. The truth is scary, man.
But for example, let's say we were talking to a female. And it went from... You good?
Yeah, we're just speaking sign language.
Oh, okay. You went from... She went from you, and then she started talking to Adam Levine, right?
Okay.
Are we going to... In terms of us talking about this every single weekend, and
Yeah,
she's
it ain't
probably
gonna happen.
talking about this every single day, right?
Yeah. She's salty about it.
She's salty as hell.
Yeah.
Are we going to blame the girl when obviously at least from initial interior
This is disgusting, but go ahead.
what is that?
A car?
That's a car? I thought it was like one of those veggie
fucking car.
You know the juicers?
What? Oh, you don't even know what it is.
That looks like a cylinder with the those juicers where you put the things in the
Yo, oh yeah. The processors, right?
yeah
That's what they're called.
yeah, but a yellow version.
Yeah. Go ahead, Francis. I apologize.
No, that's a funny looking object. That's technically a vehicle, though, right?
Yeah, no, it's an actual vehicle. He has like a, I don't know if it's like a thread or something that he's joined where people just post like the funniest cars they ever see.
That's wild. That looks like something from the 70s,
Yo,
80s.
He'll be showing you some shit that's fucking hilarious. So
Is it just one dude?
no, it's a bunch of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just
One of those Facebook threads?
You see, I don't know if it's on Facebook or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's on Reddit.
Oh, Reddit. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Huh?
But yeah, no, she's salty about it. But like I said, to me, remember I told you the other day, or it was like maybe a couple of weeks ago, where I was like, no matter what happens at the end of the day, it's like,
You can't do.
yeah,
You can't do
anything that
anything.
I can't control. Just let it go.
Well, because it is a waste of energy.
It is, and it's a killer on your mood too. Like it not only does it waste your energy, but it also, like, I feel like it kills who you are.
Your soul.
Yeah,
No.
that's why I said, like, all this shit don't matter, bro. We gonna be rich at the end of the day. That fuck you money's coming, baby.
I love the positivity.
Nope. It can be a dangerous, but can also be positive. So you just gotta find a good
Well, just to be
place to
clear,
navigate.
as I said before, like now, the only thing that affects me is when, because right now I'm so in the zone,
Mm.
and I have to take this back, but I'm so in the zone. I'm so determined. Like everything, every penny, every percent, it all matters.
Mm-hmm.
So when and you know how I'm this OCD perfectionist.
Correct.
So when it doesn't go quote unquote according to plan, or I know there was a better route, a better option,
That's what your killer is. The better option thing kills you. I know it does.
but you know me, that's take away this. The better option of whatever scenario I've ever been involved, it's
know.
always killed me.
Yeah, I know.
It's like even going back to high school, oh, I got a 98 on this test. I should have gotten the 100,
Yeah.
but I picked the wrong. I narrowed it down to these two
What a
choices.
horrible way to live, man.
To be fair, I'm doing much better than
I
how
know.
it was.
I'm just saying it's quite haunting, isn't it? Like you literally, I bet some days it keeps you up.
Bro, if you would have seen me the end of last week, so it started Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, dude, Colin was making some funny jokes on Thursday.
Mm.
And
Yeah, no
I
laughter in you.
yeah.
'Cause
And it
it's
wasn't
not
that
the
it
best
wasn't
thing.
funny. It's just I couldn't bring myself to laugh. If you know what I'm saying? It's almost those moments where for whatever reason you're around your loved ones or people you truly care for and it's a great happy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And in any other scenario, you would be happy because it's just so raw and pure.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever it's just one of those situations.
It was in your head.
Yeah. And I guess long term is going to be for the better. I'll talk to you guys about it off topic. But
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah.
as long as, but getting back to her point, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be doing this because I was technically the same way.
Yeah.
But no matter which perspective I view this scenario, it's just like you met him at a fucking bar.
Wait, do they work with the guy? This guy?
No,
he
this-
works for a different Chipotle.
No, this dude, they both met at a bar.
Oh, okay. I thought he
But-
was also a Chipotle
No,
worker. So
no.
they're the Chipotle workers.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And they just happened to find out that he was talking to both of them.
Yes.
Did he smash? Or is that not?
I
Yeah,
don't
no.
know.
Okay.
I don't know that. But I know the one.
She might be salty because she got smashed and then she got chosen son.
That could explain why she still hung up on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the details. And especially in scenarios like that, you never believe what
'Cause
the
there's-
female actually
There's
says.
no way you was just talking to this guy for like a week or two, and then like you're probably complaining about him longer than you've been talking to him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like there's not enough time to form an actual connection to care that much, unless you just boohoo me. You know, you're just a sob story that you want people to listen to, and it's
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
Oh, it is annoying.
Yeah.
And I guess the whole point of this story is I just wanted to say is that even when we, specifically myself, were doing these similar situations, we at least had more reason to, in terms of like we were actually talking for
long periods of time,
yes, and we were actually
connecting.
yes and stuff like that. As you know,
Yeah. I don't know, sometimes
like that one friend you had who was basically leading you on. It's just like, come on. But you had a good reason because you were there as a friend, and she was giving you hints every once in a while when it was convenient, like it was going to be more. And it's just, at least you had a reason to be salty about that. But this,
you know, you just had to let things. Like I said, you just got to learn to let things go.
oh yeah, definitely,
Especially when. It really depends, you know. It depends on how deep your connection is. But like I said, for this instance, for her, you know, situation, unless she was talking to the guy for like fucking a year and she had a crush on him for that long or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if it's just like, oh, we met at a bar a week ago and we had a really good conversation and now I'm salty about it for 4 weeks.
That's why I agree with you. Either he did smash and she's not giving those details, or she's as I said before, she's salty about the fact that a better woman, physically speaking, was chosen.
I just don't know why she don't let that shit go though. That shit's annoying as fuck.
Oh, bro, it was so. And this is the thing too. I haven't been working Saturdays either.
Yeah, it's true. Sundays.
Yeah, I've only been working Sundays, and 3 straight Sundays.
She's just talking about it.
Yeah, and in the weekend before that, I worked Saturday and Sunday. She didn't work that Sunday, and she was talking about it Saturday.
So this morning she was talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what you do is next week if she says it again, you just look at her and say, "Listen, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of this. He left your ass."
Dude, I think I have too many strikes at Chipotle as is.
Yeah. Francis, go home, bro. I'll come in Sunday morning. I'll hear her complaining. "Listen, bitch, shut the fuck up and make my burrito." You think that'd be rude?
You know, it's funny. She does the online orders too.
Good. I'll put that in the comment. Any comments about the food? Shut the fuck up about that guy who rocked your world and leave that shit alone. You think she'll know it's for her? He didn't want you. He said your shit was trash and dusty, and he chose the other female.
Oh my god.
You think she'd be upset if I said that? The real bad part would be when I come in, her response to all that. Did you leave that comment? I don't know who wrote that.
I'll be laughing my ass off.
Oh,
man.
you'd be fucking crying in the background.
Oh,
All
my.
you see is Francis making guac. Francis just laughing. That's your third strike, buddy. You gonna walk out with me? Just laughing.
No, because I'm not even exaggerating. She was talking about this over a span of 2 hours, and at one point it was 30 minutes straight.
Who is she talking to about this, by the way?
Just whoever's
Whoever's listening. I'm about to say, because I'm like, who the fuck is holding this conversation with her for that long? Because I would have been like, listen, girl, just give it up, bro. He don't like you. He's just not that into you. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah. With that star-studded cast.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, just give it up.
Well, it's so funny because after
Maybe he had a really good dick. You know what I'm saying?
he had the Colton dick.
Yeah, he had like the fat girther that was just like,
Yo,
yeah.
does Adrian know about that?
Yes.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Because he saw it because Cohen said something to him.
Cohen and his girl said something.
Okay. Oh.
We do know. Yeah.
Well, I'm not impressed about that because that's
He's impressed about the fatness of it.
that's slightly above average. Don't get me wrong. In a perfect world, I think 8 inches is the perfect length for a cock because
Not
at
too
the
big, not too small.
exactly. But this is what people don't realize. Yes, the 5 to 7 inches, depending on the vagina, it works, and it's technically the perfect fit because vaginas are. They say 4 to 6. I like to say 5 to 7, right? Because you could always expand it a little bit.
Get a little stretched out.
Yeah, but women don't realize, from a man's perspective, if your cock perfectly fits in her vagina, you have to give her a full thrust every single time. There's no wiggle room. With the 8 inches, you have at least an inch of wiggle room. And then if you're working with a very tight pussy or a very small pussy, that's only the 4 or 5 inches. Now you got 3 to 4 inches of wiggle room. That means if I'm having an off day where I had a long day, I don't have to go a full 100. See, this is another thing that big cock dudes don't understand.
How dare they?
You don't have to go a full 100. And you probably shouldn't, depending how big your cock is, because then you're going to actually, when I say I want to tear some pussy up, I'm meaning that figuratively. You guys might actually. That's why Daniel, I give him all the credit. Because he understands the concept that you can't go ham all the time. But he also understands that if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to put as much work in. Us average.
Donnie? I haven't seen them in a minute.
I guess it was one of those universal things. He had a very shitty week with me too.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to come today, but something happened last night with his father.
Shit.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do because he's not really close with his father, but it's one of those situations that
is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was just wondering. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah. He's been picking up a lot at GM. Yeah. How do we even get on the cock situation?
I said the dude had a nice cock, probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably had the old 8-incher.
Yeah.
3-inch girth.
That shit is so fucking wild. This entire time, my coworker, a person who's becoming my friend, true friend. I'm not just like not the how people throw the word friend around and shit. This entire time, he's had my ideal cock.
Yeah, you should ask him to see it one day.
No, but you know, like some of those sci-fi things where they like cut some shit off and then they replace yours.
Oh, you want his cock surgically?
Yes.
Surgically replaced.
Well, I don't know how it looks because if he has like the left or right leaning, I'm not a fan of that.
You're not down with that?
No, I like if my shit's gonna curve, I want it to curve like a banana.
What if his shit is just straight up 90 degrees? It's not even curved. It's a fucking right angle.
Yo, but not exactly right angle, but there are some dicks that look very bizarre.
I saw a video once, actually.
Okay.
Where it was a girl explaining the male genitalia, right?
A YouTube?
And she
Or
said,
is this...
yeah, it was. I don't even know how it came up. I feel like it was an ad on Instagram or some shit.
Okay.
Like I was just scrolling through the reels and shit. And she was saying like it's perfectly normal to be within like I think like 20 or 30 degrees of variation.
Oh, in
and
terms
she's like,
of like
anything more than that though, you should get looked at by a doctor. It's because it's completely unnatural, and it like it could be an indicator of something wrong with your dick.
Oh, really?
I think she said 30 degrees,
But did she say what could cause?
like maybe like some type of cancer or like a swelling in some place that's leaning your dick one way.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is,
And that was literally the whole video. It was like 30 seconds.
Wow, it
was funny though.
That's interesting.
But yeah. But anyways, hopefully she stops complaining on you, bro. Because I bet you that shit's annoying as fuck.
It's with every passing day, just the way we're growing, it's just, why are you? Because even now, if I was in a similar situation, obviously it's different for men and women, but just, let's say that whole Victoria situation occurred again. Well, first off, it would never be able to occur because I would never...
You don't see it that way anymore.
Yeah, I would never be able to get involved that quickly.
Yeah.
She would have had to prove herself.
Well, that's what we call growth. That's what we call progress. It's a good thing.
But it's just, even if that same scenario somehow happened all over again, right? Let's just say the way I would view that new scenario is just, I would get over it almost instantly. It's just like, okay, obviously. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
The energy is not worth trying to...
It's draining.
It is.
It is draining. Now, I did want to ask this. The girl who's complaining, right? Versus the other girl who the guy chose.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the girl who's complaining? From your,
just physically speaking?
Yeah.
Is it in her current state, or if she actually got her shit together, what's her peak?
I would say on an average day, if she tried to look nice.
If she tried to look nice.
Yeah.
Fuck. If she tried. But that's only like the superficial stuff, like
Yes.
nice clothes,
Correct.
makeup,
Correct.
not if she
Yes.
actually got in shape
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. It's like if she was going out on a date tonight and she wanted to make herself look nice.
So I'm fucking her in that state, not what I'm going to bring home, technically speaking.
Correct.
Okay. 7.5 to 8
Okay. And the other girl?
in this same scenario.
Same situation, same scenario, yep.
Bare minimum 8.5.
Really?
Yes.
Which one has the fatter ass?
Not even close.
The other girl?
Yeah.
That's why he chose her. She mad because she a flatty, bro. That's all it is.
Well, she's not a flat.
She's flatty compared to the other girl.
Yes.
My
Yes, she
man
is.
saw both the cheeks and he said, that's the one.
Yeah, but it's funny because if he's just looking to fuck, there's something about blondes. I don't.
I don't fuck with blondes.
No, but I don't. It's perfectly fine for me to fuck a blonde and just toss her.
Okay.
I just view blondes as sluts,
Okay.
and it has
That's
nothing.
why they call it a dirty blonde.
It has nothing to do with the movies, though. It's just whenever I look at blondes, they look like these trophies in a sense,
So you just want to fuck the trophy and throw it away.
or just put it in the showcase.
Okay.
No,
I just wondered.
no. To be fair, all women can come off to me that way. As you know, it's that vibe that
I
you
understand.
get.
I understand, yeah.
The vibe that they give off.
I was just curious as to, how far apart their physical
I think it's more so
view
preference.
is.
They're not because I would say 1 point out of the 1 to 10 scale. It's
No,
just
yeah,
one,
yeah.
It's just 1 point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was curious as to how far. Like,
Yeah.
if she was like a fucking 5 at her best and the other girl's a 9.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like, why
then.
the fuck are you complaining? You know that. Like, it's like me and, it's fucking, why the fuck did she choose Matt Damon? This is bullshit.
But wouldn't you make the case that when it is so close and you're still not chosen, that's what hurts more? Because if you are a 5 and the 9 is chosen,
it makes sense to some people.
It should at least.
It should, yeah.
Yeah. That's a fair point. A lot of women, no matter the shape or size
I
nowadays.
saw a clip actually that was very interesting. How, basically it was explaining how, and I'm just gonna put this in a broad sense because
Yeah.
I'm not the one who said it. I saw a clip of a podcast, where the dude was saying that how many people date within their league, be it male or female.
Oh,
Almost everybody, right?
date in their league?
Date within their league. Specifically, I use the word date. He said most people try to find people to date within their league.
On average? Because there's a lot of cocky men.
Yeah, on average.
Then, yeah, I would say.
But it said, but a guy can never, like almost never, fuck out of his league. But a woman can.
Are we grading out of our league by physical or just overall status?
Overall status.
Okay.
So it said
I was just viewing
it
this
was
physical.
talking about how basically females nowadays with the fuck culture that is our culture, that females tend to fuck out of their league because guys will fuck almost anything, right? So females tend to fuck out of their league and they misrepresent that with their dating league. You understand what I'm saying? So they think they can pull because they pulled the guy who's a 8-9. They pulled him, so now they think they can date out of their league. And that's not me saying that. That's just something that somebody said on a podcast that I wanted to bring up. And I wanted to see if you thought that would be accurate. Because the basic point of it was guys tend to actually see the world for what it is.
Can we emphasize this as Western culture? Because I still
Yes.
think
Yes,
Eastern.
because that's what they're talking about
Okay.
specifically. So yes, we can
Okay.
emphasize that as Western culture, our culture. That's why.
Yes, yeah. Then I absolutely agree with that
Yeah.
statement.
And that's what was a big problem with. They were saying with the
mindset right now.
yeah, with the mindset of both males and females is that
Expectations.
Females think that they can basically date a guy who's way out of their league because they fucked him once or
Yeah.
twice. Well, as a guy,
So I definitely because you said a woman. You said a man can date out of his league, but not fuck.
yes, That's what they said. I
and
believe
then,
so.
And then the woman was the opposite, right? They can fuck out of their league,
but they
not-
can't date out of their league. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So it is just a very interesting thing to me.
But I would also say that goes both ways because a lot of women are fucking men below their league,
That's
which
true.
is still out of their league.
That's true.
But just the opposite way.
Yeah. But it was saying that's a big thing with well, let's just say because the main topic of the conversation was pointed towards females. So he was saying that's a big problem with females nowadays is that
Because it's one thing for a
Instead
man
of-
to fuck, and it's another thing for a man to date.
exactly. But they're saying females now are basically everybody wants the 6'2" guy in great shape, no matter basically females are being completely unrealistic with their dating. What does he call it?
But the thing that's
Their
so
dating league.
But the thing that's so weird about that, those same women that want to date those men, they will still fuck men that don't compare to.
Correct.
Which is the thing that doesn't make sense because in a lot of Eastern in Eastern European cultures and in Asian cultures, women will only, on average, fuck the men that they see themselves dating. That's the big difference now with women in America and Britain and Canada and stuff.
Yeah, they fuck just to fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not just females. Guys do it too. I just want to point that out. Guys also fuck just to fuck. But the new thing now is the females
But
fucking
guys,
just to fuck.
no matter the culture.
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
So
But
nothing.
guys have always done that.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Let's say the new thing in this culture is
Yeah.
females fuck to fuck. Which, I mean, they can do whatever they want. But I just, like I said, I just thought it was an interesting conversation. I wish I could remember. I don't even know. It was like one of those reels on Instagram. It just popped up. I always think it's interesting.
I know we already talked about this, but I heard somebody talk about if you want to be as optimistic as possible, at the end of the day, if you want to look at life,
Okay.
no matter how bad your day is, as long as you're alive, you have to look at it as a positive. And he broke it down basically saying, we're lucky to be alive, but we're just not lucky to be living, but we're lucky to have been born. And the reason why we're lucky to have been born, because we could have been aborted.
Uh-huh.
And even when you go deeper than that, there's the natural aspect of a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And then when you go deeper than that, the freaking eggs and the sperm meeting.
Yeah.
And then you go deeper than that, it's the DNA.
Yeah.
So we're lucky that our DNA was even picked between sperm and egg.
Mm-hmm.
And then we weren't in a situation where our mothers had a miscarriage, where we weren't aborted, that when we were born, it was a successful birth. And then, however old you are, you're still fucking alive. As we just talked about how so many things can happen.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to bring that up, that as bad as the day is, you have to just think about you're still alive and there is the next day, no matter how daunting that next day might look.
You know what's funny is I was actually thinking about that earlier, where just thinking about the coincidences and the events since the beginning of time that led up to your existence. Like, think about that for a second. You know what I'm saying?
Just
Like,
in terms of the rarity of life.
Everything lined up perfectly for you to be here.
Even if you are, because as we were just discussing, there's a difference between humans. Some were more gifted than others.
Of course.
But even the most ungifted, ugliest, disformed thing was still born, and it's still, quote unquote, what we consider living.
Yeah. And if you think of the chances of that throughout the scale of time, it's unfathomable.
It is, at least for what we know about the existence of life.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. And that's why at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You seem to be very upbeat.
I'm sick, so I just don't care. Am I upbeat today?
Well, for you being sick, I would say so.
Oh, yeah. I got to. Somebody's got to be here. You think Adrian's going to do it?
No, but Adrian's more so a consistent
Tone?
Yeah. In on average.
You hear him disrespecting you, Adrian?
On average, would you disagree with that?
Most of the time, he is the voice of reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can just be anywhere at any given moment.
And I'm the, especially of the bunch, I'm the sporadic one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking about. I just don't. I keep. Because I was talking to Danielle about this. I just don't understand how so many people are just okay. We were talking about this too.
What were we talking
But when all the times we're paired together, just I don't understand how people are okay with stuff.
Oh, okay. Like paying taxes.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you got to get along to go along, right?
Yeah, but it gets to a certain degree. Somebody said that if you look at what's going on, is that at some point in time, especially in American history, we fought to get all these quote unquote freedoms, these Bill of Rights.
Yes.
But if you look at the history of
Going in the opposite direction.
yeah. And it doesn't take much. It's just a centimeter at a time. But that's all it takes when you talk about over years, decades, centuries. It's just like, get the fuck out. I don't give a fuck anymore. If I step on you, I'm stepping on you.
Fuck that cat.
Well, I do that with the dogs now too, because they literally lie in the fucking, and it's just, you're my pet.
How dare you?
You're the fucking dog.
Yeah.
It's in your
What up,
DNA.
dog? I just think he's talking to like an actual person. You're the dog. What up, dog? Dab him up real quick. Dog with the DAW. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
That's
haven't seen that in a while. Funny how slang switches up so quickly.
Oh yeah. No cap. Shit's busting.
Wait, is that the new thing?
I don't know. That's probably the old thing now, right? No, it's still the thing. Okay.
What, bussing?
Yeah.
Or no cap?
No cap's definitely still in, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
for. I normally see it happening with females.
Oh.
In terms of a man.
White females. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I listen to a podcast and they always bring on females and they always talk about, oh, I only have 3 bodies, or it's
No
like,
cap.
and
Oh, they put the hat on?
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. They fucking just animate a hat on them.
or they animate a hat, or they do a quick, whoever's actually producing the episode, they quickly go to him and he has a deadpan face and then he puts the cap on slowly, and then they go back to the conversation.
There's a funny clip. Like, I don't know who this dude is, but he interviews people, and he asked them, males and females, he asked them, what could you buy with your body count if everybody was $1? You ever see that?
I've seen the short clips of that.
Yeah, same here. I just see him on Instagram and shit, and the one girl was like, oh, it's not that bad. And he's like, could you buy a large pizza? And she goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. He's like, all the toppings? All the fucking toppings. He's like, damn, girl. And then he's like, could you buy a pair of Vans? And she's like, definitely. He's like, that's like $50. She's just like, yeah, I know. Then one girl was like, yo, I could buy a fucking, like, it was like a pair of Nikes that were like $200.
Just real quick, though. She thought that was low?
Yeah.
The $50 Vans?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, she made it sound at the beginning like it was going to be a low number.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then he just kept adding on, and she's like, yep.
But she's so confident about that.
But the one girl, he said a pair of, like, Nike Dunks or something that are, like, $150, and she's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I don't know.
I would not be proud of that as a woman.
Yeah, no, me neither. I wouldn't be proud of that as a man.
I go back and forth. I see both sides, but
I just, to me, I don't think sleeping with a shit ton of people is necessary.
It's not necessary.
Even wanted. At least for me, I don't want to sleep with that many people.
My non-nature self agrees with you.
But I feel like if you something something like
It gets to a certain point, it's
I feel
meaningless.
like at some point, it's you got to realize that you have no self control, right?
No, that's
Yeah, because it's like it's not that I don't want to fuck that many people, because I want to fuck a lot of people,
Yeah.
but I don't want to have sex with that many people. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like to me, if your body count is that high, you have no self control. You can't sit there and go, yeah, I'm not gonna have sex. You're gonna go, yeah, let's fuck. You know what I'm saying?
But I would also make the case very few men are in a situation for one reason or another to even do that.
That's true. I feel like females definitely have higher body counts than men nowadays.
As you said, because it's so easy.
Yeah.
And this is another thing, too, is that now, too, because of social media, so many females are fucking the same men.
What does that mean?
Is that, okay, so on average, men's body count is lower than females' body count when you include everybody.
Okay.
But the few men who are fucking everybody, they have a much higher body count than
Okay, I see
the
what you're
women,
saying.
if
So
that
when
makes
you
sense.
go to the extremes, right?
The
that
men are still at top.
Gotcha. Okay.
But on average, it's easily the women now because so many women are fucking the same men now
Yeah.
because before even the internet, let alone social media. Unless it was a player in a hometown, most women, because of religious beliefs, because of travel and distance, they didn't have that many bodies.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also like it's become more acceptable to have for a female to have more multiple partners. You know what I'm saying?
They brag about it.
Yeah. And for guys, since like I said, since it's always been more of a guy thing, to us it's just like, well, whatever. But I think guys also.
But what
I
do
don't
you
know.
I think on average men are having less bodies now than before.
No, I agree.
Maybe not 100 years ago, but compared to like the 2000s or the 1990s, if there is some way to gather the data, I put money the average, let's say 25-year-old, his body count is actually lower now.
I agree.
Than what it used to be. While the average 25-year-old female, it's skyrocketed.
Now, do you think it's become more acceptable for females because of other females accepting it, or because of males accepting it more?
That is a great question.
Because I just thought about. I feel like it's probably a mixture of both, but mainly towards other females accepting it.
I believe it is because of the men's
You think so?
initiative. Because I highly believe the feminist movement, it doesn't benefit females.
I agree with that.
Because when you really think about it, any respectable woman and any respectable man, right? Who gets more of the benefits of the feminist movement? Especially the feminist movement now of show as much
I think
skin.
men do.
Oh, easily. But that's another reason why I think that factors into why men are having less bodies. Because they see so much now. As much as people don't want to believe it, part of the excitement of having sex with a woman is the chase to some degree. Or the journey, however you want to. But if a man, let's say in the 1900s, was a player, and he wanted to get as many bodies as possible, before all you could see is the face of the woman and maybe some ankles. That was part of the enticement. What's under there? Now, a player now, it's like, okay, I could basically see what her pussy looks like.
Yeah, just about.
And most women, depending on what they're wearing, you can see what their pussy looks like now. And you never even have to talk to them. Like, that's the sad part.
OnlyFans, baby.
I wasn't even talking about OnlyFans.
I was.
Some leggings now or some yoga pants.
It's a beautiful creation. But like you said, oversaturation, right?
It is oversaturation. You know it's oversaturation when a sex addict is just like,
Who's the sex addict here?
who knows?
Mystery to us all.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, in the moment, it's just like, wow, ass, pussy, tits.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. But then when you really is just like, okay. And most of the time, the shit doesn't even look as good because they're wearing some undercover butt lifts or the yoga pants are keeping their ass in
they're
that position.
scientifically designed.
Yes.
It's funny though. I also saw these clips are coming, but I remember someone said it was like a doctor. He had a PhD in something, and he said
Okay.
the feminist again with the feminist movement. He said, "You really think that the feminist movement's going to make you happy?" He said, "Do you think that when you're 45 years old and you chased your career and you have all this money and you have no kids and no family because of your career, that when you're 45 you're going to be happy?" He's like, "Because it doesn't even work for males." He was like, "So now you're going to have, females who do this, who don't have families and all that stuff." And
Where the family is more important to the female.
yeah. And then not only that, as we know, a man pretty much can have children, unless he's infertile until the day he dies, like of old age.
Well, look at Mick Jagger. He's he's in
exactly.
his 70s
but,
still.
Females have that reproductive timeline.
Yeah.
So
They do have an end date.
yeah, exactly. And you don't know when it could be. You could get pregnant if you're 60, but it's no matter what, less likely of a chance throughout the years.
Well, I disagree with that too. The moment you start menopause, you can't, because literally menopause is you're out of eggs.
Well, I'm saying in rare exceptions. I'm saying
yeah.
not like on average, but on rare
but you
exceptions.
still need the eggs.
Oh, yeah,
Where a
absolutely.
man can keep producing sperm
Yeah,
until,
yeah.
like you said, he
Yeah.
dies.
But that's what I'm saying is no matter what female you are, you don't know when your time is going to be done for having, children.
Yeah.
And you ask anyone in the world, I'm pretty sure most of the time, if they do have children, they'll say that's the best thing you can do. You know what I'm saying?
And what I've noticed too, if you ever be at YouTube, Twitter, blah blah blah, social media, if you ever look at the women who are shouting the most and the loudest, and they seem the angriest, it's these women, specifically and especially white women, who are in their late 30s or early 40s, and what's their scenario? No kids, no man, no family. Huh.
So she got nothing to be happy about.
Yeah. And it's no coincidence. I'm not saying that it's a 100% thing, but if you really look at a lot of these women who get on TikTok or whatever and they're shouting about racist and sexist and blah blah, America sucks and all this stuff, they normally have no kids and no man.
It's kind of off topic, but I think is really funny. I saw a clip of a guy having not an argument, but like he was getting. It was basically like a conversation with someone who I believe
That he knew
identified as either non-binary or transgender, and it was just funny.
Identified. You emphasize identified.
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm not sure what she is.
Okay.
But he said, "I'm a male and you're a female." And she said, he, she, it, whatever you want to call yourself. She said, "Well, who's to say that?" And she's like, who's to say that? And he goes, the same reality that says me and you are sitting in this room right now. and she just like, but this, that, and the third. And then he says something. And she's like, "Oh, well, who are you to assume that, that dog or whatever?" She was talking about an animal that had, male or female. And he was like, "Well, she's like, who's to say that that dog doesn't identify as a female or something?" He was like, "Well, because they can't talk to the dog." He's like, so I identify it as a gender based on its genitalia."
Yeah.
And is like the whole interview just falls apart, but it's just hilarious.
Are you talking about Matt Walsh?
I don't know who it was. It was literally just like a 20, 30-second clip, but I just think it's hilarious. Because he, like I said,
was he wearing glasses and did he have a beard?
Maybe.
Well, because do you know if it was promoted by like the Daily Wire or something?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. It was like I said, 30-second clip on Instagram.
Did you ever see the 30-second clip where the dude, I believe it's the same guy, he's talking to a man who identifies as a woman, and he asks her, "What is a woman?" And then she goes into her spiel saying, "How am I supposed to know?" Saying, I identify as what I want to. And
I do know the clip you're talking about. Yeah.
And then he says, "Okay, so if that's the case, can you please explain to me what is a cat?" And then she says, and then she's about to say, "What is a cat?" And then she says, "You know what? I completely underestimated coming up here. I'm going to leave." And she just walks away.
I know what you're talking about, because he's like, "You identify as a woman, but you can't tell me what a woman is." That's what his point was. I remember that.
Yes. So then he says, "What is a cat?" And she was about to answer.
Yeah, and then she realized she fell into his trap.
Yep.
Because who are you to tell that cat what it is, right?
Yeah. Because that's the same logic. If you can say you are whatever it is, then,
Then
you can't
identify anything else as anything else.
exactly.
Because you don't know that.
And that's a great point.
I just don't know why people get so hung up on it, though, too.
I guess from his perspective, it's the fact that it's now leading into schools.
Oh, yeah. Well, my thing is, I don't mean like that. I mean, like, I don't know why people get so caught up on explaining their side of the story. It's like, okay, if you identify as a male, then you can identify as a male. But why do you go to other
Like, why are
people?
you forcing it upon?
Yeah, because you want me to accept your perspective,
Yes.
but you refuse to accept my perspective. So it just like the war's already lost. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it's at that point it's
Yeah, so it's because, like I said, why do I have to accept your perspective when you can't accept my perspective?
and normally those same people who do that are the same people who says every perspective needs
Yeah,
because they try to define and back up their reason for
Yeah.
why they identify as this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're not accepting my perspective. You're a bigot or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, literally using the same logic, it's like, okay, even if I respect your perspective, you do or you don't. It doesn't matter. You're not respecting my perspective
Yeah.
of I will respect you as a person, but
Yeah.
I don't respect where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And just the
Or,
moments.
like when, just for instance, if somebody gets mad because you misidentified them, but you don't know them, you understand what I'm saying? So it's
Especially
like
when you
if
don't-
you're transgender and you look like a male, but you identify as a female,
female?
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
How can you get mad at me if I don't know your situation? I go based of what I see. Because that is how the world works. You got to play off of what you see.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how can you get mad at me for that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
And like I said, you can be whatever you want to be. I honestly don't care. To me, it's, as long as you're not pushing your perspective on other people, that's it. You want to be transgender? Be transgender. You
Well,
want to be non-binary, hocus pocus? Do whatever you want. I don't care.
Well, it goes back to the beginning of the episode, the sensitivity.
Yeah. Yeah, that does.
When you really think about it, because more or less, it's no different than when somebody misnames you in terms of like, oh, yo, what up, Adrian? But because from the back you might have looked like Adrian, so
Yeah.
somebody says, yo, what's up, Adrian? If everybody flipped out every time they got miscalled their
Yeah,
name,
exactly. Then it's just nothing but hostility everywhere.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
People
this
just-
is no different. Is if you have long hair and you have the attributes of a woman, but because you decided to wake up this morning and say I'm a male, and then you said, "Hey, miss, you dropped this or whatever," and it's like now for doing a courtesy for you,
Yeah.
I'm getting shit for it
Yeah.
just because you look, talk, act like a woman,
Mm-hmm.
but.
You know what's funny though too is like my whole thing is, you know, the whole assumption of genders. It's like by even telling someone how dare you assume my gender, they could just hit you with how dare you assume that I was talking to you, you know? How dare you assume that my male and female aren't reversed? How dare you assume I give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Assumptions can go any which way cuz that's exactly what they are, assumptions.
Yo, but I like what you did with the language thing. How dare you assume that when I'm calling you a lady, it's your definition of a lady?
Exactly. Because it's my perspective.
Yeah, my lady could be something completely different from your lady. When you really, because everything, how these people wake up and say I'm a wolf and stuff. At that point, language doesn't matter.
Well-
So how can you get offended when I call you something when?
Well, and the thing also is with all these labels, I guess you would call them,
Yeah.
like no matter what, you're going to lose because at some point you can't, even if you call this person a they, a them, they could find that offensive.
Yeah, but
So
why didn't you call me Zer?
Yeah, so no matter what you do, you have to, at some point, you have to assume some type of, not gender, but some type of
label.
or
Identification,
identification for them because that's just how humans work. Otherwise, I cannot refer to you when I talk to you. And how can you talk to somebody and not refer to them at the same time? You can't.
But this is the thing, too. Even if we didn't use language as identification, what do you think animals do? They go off of an image, a certain image. It's like, okay, you can tell without ever labeling anything. 99% of the time, you could tell the difference between a male lion and a female lion.
Yeah.
it's just
It's just DNA.
the language behind it is just the scapegoat of what's really happening right now, and that's the issue.
And like I said, that my main gripe with it is just the fact that is I just don't understand how you can get mad at me for not seeing your perspective of the world. It's like, dude, I don't have your perspective of the world.
But can I say this? I would respect the people who get offended if they actually went through all the physical changes. Then,
Oh yeah, like if they straight up look like a female and you made the assumption that this, that, and the third.
yes.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but when
because
you're
then
one,
you just straight up missed the mark on that one.
yes. But when you're straight up, you're a man. You have everything like a man. And as of yesterday, you were still a man, and then today you switched it up, and then you're blaming everybody for misgendering you, mislabeling you, whatever you want to call it. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me.
It's all beyond me, man. Just be whatever you want to be. Just, stop getting upset at people. That's it.
Do you think when and how do you think this is going to end?
I don't think it's ever going to end. I actually think it's going to get more ridiculous.
Really?
I think it might end eventually, but I don't think I'll live long enough to see it.
You think we're going to get into some serious cyberpunk shit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I honestly think we're going to get to a point where people start like their own ethnicities and races. Like, oh, I identify as a universal transfiguration of a god or some shit.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like a whole cult thing. And then everyone's going to be like, yeah, I'll just join these people because, why not?
I'm glad you brought that up, though. Don't you find it weird that it's perfectly fine for people to misgender in terms of they didn't get any surgery, but now they're going flip-flopping between male and female?
Uh-huh.
And that's fine, but if somebody says, oh, I'm black, right? And they're a white. If they identify as a different race, that's the limit?
That's a good point.
Don't you think it's more extreme for somebody to identify as a completely different sex than to identify as a different race? Because as we've discussed, and we have our disagreeing opinions about it, to some degree, no matter anybody's definition, your culture is what affects race as well. Culture does affect race.
Uh-huh.
So if somebody, even though they have white skin, if they only have African descended friends, they only grew up in the hip hop culture, jazz culture, and their way of life is what we consider black culture, and they say, yo, I'm black, how is that more offensive than a man who still has his balls and dick is swimming and dominating other females? But a white man who says I'm black, or a black man who says I'm white, that's the more offensive thing.
I couldn't tell you.
Because I just noticed that one.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I can't even think of an explanation for that one.
That literally doesn't make sense, right? In terms of
it just doesn't make sense.
The
I can't
degree.
I can't even play devil's advocate on that one. Like, I'm literally at a loss for that one.
That just popped up when you said the whole people making up new races. That brought me back to, I was thinking one day, I'm thinking, isn't it more offensive? Because sex is actually a physical thing, not ethnicity, but race is there's no true definition for race as we've discussed. Ethnicity is like you can't. Ethnicity is your origin, your DNA origin, but race. If you could ask 100 people, what's your definition of race, and you might get 100 different definitions.
Yeah.
But sex, you can't. And I know people say, no, we're not talking about sex. We're talking about gender. But no, the way gender is influenced by sex, and the way you guys are using gender, you're talking about sex. Mm-hmm. Because the moment you chop off your dick, you're no longer a freaking man in terms of being able to do what a man can do. Like, you still have the DNA of a man, but now, like, in terms of how sex and gender are interconnected. It's like you're literally physically changing an aspect about you that helps define what makes you you.
Well, what do they say?
I guess what I'm really trying to say is that at the end of the day, race is just skin deep.
Okay.
Right? If you're a black man, at the end of the day, when it comes to the root, It's no different than Hispanic, white. I'm not talking about socially, but I'm talking about physical, actual stuff.
Okay.
When you say you're a man and then you say you're a woman, those are two completely different lifestyles, not factoring in social circumstances.
Okay.
So let's say we don't have society, right?
Society's gone.
Yeah. And you have a black man, a white man, a Hispanic man. At the end of the day, as long as they have the similar mindsets, they're going to have similar lives.
Uh-huh.
But a black man and a black woman are never going to have the same life.
Okay, I see
no
what you're
matter
saying.
what you do.
Yes, okay. I see what you're saying.
That's why I'm saying people are getting more offended when somebody tries to change their race. But they're just completely fine when people are trying to change their gender. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I honestly, I got nothing on that one. I can't even play devil's advocate. I just agree with you.
I wouldn't be able to play devil's advocate if I wanted to either. I just...
Hey, man. That's, like I said, we've gone too far. Humans have gone too far. It's time to go back.
Well, Western
Ice
culture
Age.
has... No, yo, can I just go on a mini rant?
Sure.
I love
What are we here for?
how dominant our culture is when it comes to... Or how much our culture is influenced by Asia, right?
Okay.
Basically, everything that's made for America comes from China.
Correct.
Our technology and our entertainment industry is heavily influenced by Japan.
Correct.
Yet, the same culture that is so influenced by these other cultures, they say the white Europeans are the racist ones.
Okay.
Like America. Who's the racist one? Who can only be racist? Oh, only white people are racist, right?
Okay.
Yet at the same time, Asian culture always has been and still is the most racist culture to date.
Mm-hmm.
In Korea, if a woman is dating a non-Korean, she's viewed as a hoe. Like the moment you start dating a non-Korean man, you're considered a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
In China, they are literally putting non-Chinese people into slavery.
Mm.
In Japan, you could speak perfect Japanese. If you are not of Japanese descent, you will never be Japanese.
That's correct.
Yet, look at what's happening in Europe. They're trying to accept everybody.
Yeah.
They're going out of their way to accept Muslims. Like,
Yeah.
look at us. Even though we're Catholics and we're Christians, we accept everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, Europeans are the racists?
Yes.
But do you understand
No,
or
I
see
understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying?
I don't know how to explain it because I live here. So it's like, I understand what you're saying completely, but I can't get a grasp of, like, just from what you tell me, I can understand.
But to be fair, you've also never like actually traveled to Asian countries too, so it's
Correct.
harder for you to even.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, it's just, I don't know. It's very strange. But I do understand what you're saying because, I mean, like you said, the most accepting countries would be, like you said, they take in everybody.
Yeah.
But then you have...
And I'm not saying all Asian countries, but I'm saying
the majority.
yes, especially the ones we know of, the
big
dominant.
ones. The big
yeah.
ones. Yeah. I'll see. I never thought about it. But that's what we're here for, to broaden your horizons.
Well, that's as you like to say it when we have fuck you money. There's a lot of Asian countries I want to go to.
Okay. I'm down.
No, just like the Philippines for the beauty, Japan just because of the culture. South Korea is very weird.
Yeah, they are.
As weird as Japan is, from what I've read and who I've listened to, South Korea is even weirder, which is interesting.
I'm all for it.
And then there's that one country that's never talked about. I think it's Singapore.
Uh-huh.
What country is that? Is that the country or is that the city?
No, Singapore, I believe, or is it? No, Singapore is the city, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it New Zealand?
No.
What do I think about? Where's Singapore at?
I don't know.
Huh? It is a country.
Okay, yeah. That's supposedly low key one of the wealthiest
Yes.
So I want to go there just to see what that's like.
I mean, I'd be down.
Yeah. Well, first we need to get this freaking South Africa. Yo, by the way, I took photos. I know our maxes for PTO and sick time too. I took screenshots.
Yeah. It's not a lot. I know that.
Well, the sick time is a lot.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, with the sick time, of course, we don't accrue that much.
No, not at all.
Accrue, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, the sick time is trash. But that's the one that you can bank the most.
Yeah, yeah.
In
That's how
New
it
York,
always works.
in New York, it's like 100 and something hours.
Dude, we had at Kaleida there was a thing called ESB, the electronic sick bank, and whatever like PTO you didn't use that ended up like it would never expire. It would just go into the electronic sick bank, right? So, but the electronic sick bank you can only use if like you have a doctor's note or something like that. Yeah. So or like
They
you were
wouldn't
injured.
even allow you to say, "Oh, I'm sick."
Nope.
So what if you said, "Oh, I'm throwing up"? You would have to go to the doctors and prove that.
Yep, exactly.
Are you fucking serious?
Uh huh. And I remember because one of our supervisors, she said she wished she used up more of her PTO when she started because her electronic sick bank had like 12,000 hours in it because she was there for years. And you can't use it unless you're actually sick. Like if you break your leg, you can use it. You know, shit like that. Yeah.
But they can't even do the fake, "Oh, I'm sick."
Nope. You got to go get a doctor's note. Yep.
Dude, that.
Yeah. That's why I used up all my PTO I could. Because if it goes to electronic sick bank, you can't do shit with it.
Dude, so many companies, they give this whole, we're a team, we want to create a family culture. But it's just little stuff like that. It's like, okay, I see where you're nickel and diming because that's how the company saves a shit ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody, no matter what, unless you end up getting cancer or whatever, you're not using up 12,000 hours or 1,200 hours, whatever it is, even 600 hours of sick time.
Yeah. I know, I think the max they let you carry over for the year was 75 hours.
For PTO?
Yeah. But you max out at like 140 hours.
Oh, okay. But you just
can
can't carry over
75. But if you get the PTO buyback. So if you had 130, if you didn't want to go to the electronic sick bank, which of course you don't, you fill out the form and you get your money back for the PTO. But you can keep
companies that
75 hours.
don't let you do that is trash.
Yeah. Well, with our company, basically whenever you leave or quit, you get a check for your PTO.
Oh yeah, I remember. I wasn't able to find it. Do you know what their policy is in terms of if you hit the max? Because obviously they only allow
It
you.
carries over.
Okay, but like let's say you hit the max and it carries over. What happens when you start going over the max?
Nothing. You just max out.
So technically you're forced to use the time.
Yeah, but you know how much we max out at, right?
Well, the first 2 years it's only 80.
Yeah. But as you get, as you go further on, you get more maxed out. But it's like,
But it's still not that much.
But the PTO never expires though, which is nice.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it never expires. So you can literally rack up the entire time, but obviously you get capped off.
Yeah.
So it really depends. I think it's nice that it doesn't expire because Kaleida.
A lot of companies expire.
Yeah, I also will point out with Kaleida, you could carry over 75 hours, right? But you could only have 6 months to use those 75 hours. That's how trash it was. So if you could get 70 hours, you had till the middle of the year to use those 75 hours, or they went to your ESB.
So they want you to take time off.
Yes.
Yo, the way some companies work, it's backwards.
You know what's crazy too? I just saw that Kaleida Security got approved under the contract to get that. There was a bonus when Corona hit, a $3,000 healthcare worker bonus, and if you stayed on
for each individual,
yeah, but they said that security contract didn't qualify, but it was just approved that it does qualify for that.
So you should get it then.
That's what I'm saying.
So are you going to put
I don't know. I got to look more into it. But I just saw this like 2 days ago.
Oh, bro.
That's $3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it is taxed at the higher rate,
Yeah.
it's extra money you don't have.
Yeah.
Yo, look into it and see if that counts for if you're still not working there. It should though.
It should because I was there when COVID hit,
Yeah.
and we got absolute shitted on for COVID. They gave us $2 extra an hour, and I denied it. I did not sign the paper.
For the $2 extra. Will that affect the 3,000?
Yes and no, maybe because I still dealt with COVID.
Why did you deny it though?
Because
Out
I
of
wasn't,
principle?
No, because when it first happened, I wasn't risking my life for $2 an hour. Because COVID was so unpredictable, we didn't know much about it. Obviously,
Oh, you're
And
saying
everyone
you're
else was
saying
getting-
working directly.
yeah.
You didn't work during the first couple weeks of COVID then?
No, I did
Then why didn't you want to get the extra pay?
because it was $2 an hour,
But still,
and I like to deny them. Oh, you got a COVID patient? Nah, I didn't sign that deal with someone else.
Oh, okay. So this was specifically working with COVID pay. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was just
No. It wasn't like straight up like, oh yeah, we'll give you an extra $2 an hour for being at the hospital. It came to a point.
So
when
what
we
if you
were-
only worked with a COVID patient for a half an hour? You only got $2 for that half an hour?
Yes, that's eventually what it came to. For everyone else in the hospital, though, remember it wasn't $2 an hour; it was $10 an hour extra.
Yeah.
So at one point, Edwin, who was working EVS, told us that if you basically did not get COVID pay until you went to clean a COVID room, and if you went to clean a COVID room, they only gave you 4 hours of COVID pay. That's how. Yeah, exactly. There was a bunch of stipulations and shit like that, and that's exactly why for the first couple weeks, I was just like, until I eventually signed it, until we knew more about COVID. You know what I'm saying? But when it first came, everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be fucking horrible." So I'm like, I'm not risking my life for $2 an hour, especially when other people are getting paid an extra $10 an hour. And guess who has to go hands on with the patient if things go bad? Me. They wanted us to like suit up and do all this shit. And it's
Either
like,
I don't remember this, or I didn't hear this part. That I didn't know that part. That is
what, the $10 extra they were getting?
no, how it was only specifically when you were working in the. So it wasn't like,
It wasn't an everyday thing, no.
dude, this whole, oh my god, this whole
Eh.
COVID was. I don't care what anybody says. It was. 50 years from now, if this country turns around for the better, or if anybody has the balls, there's going to be a major fucking book or documentary, whatever.
About how fucked of a job we did when COVID hit.
In every sense.
Yeah.
And it's going to go, if anybody has the balls, they're going to dig into the numbers and see how skewed the numbers were too.
Oh, I imagine it's horribly skewed. So, but like I said, I'm not with the hospital no more, so it's fine. They were, like I said, I think Collide is a good place to work if you're not EVS and if you're not security. Besides that, if you actually, are a medical professional, be it a nurse, a medical assistant, a doctor, anything like that, they treat you well. But the security team gets asked out no matter what.
Okay, I want to end on this note since it was flowing with this overall episode.
Go ahead.
At the end of the day, there's many ways to define a man.
Sure.
Physically, status-wise, socially, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about this definition? A man/men should be defined by emotional control.
I think that's accurate. I think that's an accurate statement because if they do not have adequate emotional control, you wouldn't call them a man, would you? You'd call them a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could also, if you want to get deeper, a major factor between male and female, too, is that on average, females are, be it girls or women, boys and men, they're normally always more emotional. And to go off of your point with the boy thing, why are girls, quote unquote, viewed differently than boys when it comes to schooling? Because normally girls mature quicker.
But they're more emotional.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I never thought about that. I don't know.
But when you think about it too, though, is that a woman, or like however you want to define when, because women get they puberty, they hit puberty quicker than men, right?
Okay.
So I guess once they are in that puberty stage, they're not a girl, but they're not a woman.
I see what you're saying.
So they're
Becoming a woman, you could say, in transition.
So they're technically less emotional than a boy because of the puberty maturity aspect of it.
Okay.
But they're still nowhere nearly as controlled as a true man is too. So like it's like those different stages of a race. It's like yes, when we're lining them at even points, like a boy with a girl, a preteen boy with a preteen girl, a man and a woman.
Okay.
On average, the female is always more emotional.
Correct.
But as we just realized is that even though women tend to be more mature, especially quicker, they still have that more emotional aspect to them.
You know what I think it is though too is I don't know if you could say that. I mean, I would say me personally that they are more emotional, but that might just be because men tend to hide their emotions more, so we're viewed as less emotional. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but doesn't that go back to the definition I brought up, though?
No, it does. That's what I'm saying, though. Because, I mean, they said emotional control, right? That is a man keeping his emotions under control. But that's why I'm saying, like, my view is skewed. My view is skewed because I know men tend to hide their emotion more. But from where we stand as men, women are more emotional.
And to be fair, when we're saying more emotional, we're just saying they're showing their emotion.
Yes, exactly.
It's on their sleeve more.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take. I don't know. But I also agree, no matter if you're talking about male or female, the difference between a boy and a man and a girl and a woman is that emotional control. I think that is what makes you more mature, more grown up.
I was about to say, I think that's straight up maturity right there.
Yeah, it's learning how to control your emotions.
I just wanted to run that definition by you because I never heard anybody use that description to define a man. But it's very true.
Yeah. But like I said, to me, it's true for both parties.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like, the thing is, though, too, emotional control is very, it's the term that we use, emotional control. But I also feel like that's a problem with guys is we don't really have emotional control, some of us. You know what I'm saying? We just hide our feelings. That's not considered emotional control, really. Sometimes. Most of the time, it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So I think I think that's another problem too. It leads to a false sense of who a person is.
That's a good point. I do want to point this out though. So like hypothetically speaking, if you have a woman, right?
Okay.
And she has an outburst in a certain situation. And you put that man in the same situation and he has an outburst. We will view those two people completely differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost to a certain degree, we're going to give favor, understanding to the woman. But we're going to look down or feel a non-positive way about the man.
Correct. I think the whole problem too is it just becomes like everyone wants not everyone, but people say male and female should be equal, but no matter what anyone does, male and females will never be equal. It's
impossible.
Not intended to be that way.
No.
That's just how it is.
No.
And it's not
because
sexism,
if it was, we would be
is.
asexual then.
Yeah.
If that was,
it's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Everyone has their part to play, right? So,
well, this is the thing: is if anybody wants to actually do the research or do their own experiments, be it socially, be it mentally, be it physically, on average, is just so drastically different.
What do you mean? What's drastically different?
In terms of just, if you take away society, right?
Okay.
And you just put all these newborns.
Okay.
And they have no influence besides themselves.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And you just and then you start giving them physical activities. On average, the man is going, in most activities, is going to dust the woman.
It's just the biological of
just
it all.
Just social interactions. Yeah. Men interact differently compared to women.
Yeah.
mentally speaking, as we were just talking about, how women mature quicker, but yet they're still emotional no matter the comparison.
And there are extremes to every situation, right?
Yeah.
But the majority we speak of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I don't know. I just think it's funny. Like I said, the society we live in is like everybody wants to be equal, but deep down you should know that nobody's made the same, right? I mean, we're all made the same, but nobody is the same.
Not only that is that most of the time the people who want equality, they're saying that, but their actions don't speak it. How all these NBA players keep talking about equality for the WNBA, but okay, so are you going to take a $50 million less paycheck?
Yeah. Well, my whole thing with that is it's very simple because from what I know, the NBA makes way more money than WNBA.
Yo, you don't even have to go that far, bro. You know why the WNBA exists? You know who funds the WNBA?
The NBA?
Yes. The WNBA doesn't even make enough money from ticket sales to fund itself. So another way to put it, the NBA funds itself.
Yeah. And the WNBA.
Yes.
It's interesting.
But the WNBA wants equality with the NBA.
That's like saying, just, putting it out there, that's like saying that we should get the same pay for our YouTube channel as, like Markiplier and PewDiePie, right?
No, it's not even that. You know what that's saying?
Huh.
That's saying PewDiePie funds us.
And then we still claim to get equal. We should get equal play.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's even worse because it's one thing that, for example, if the WNBA at least was self-supportive,
Yeah.
and then they claimed, why aren't we making as much as the NBA? At least it's still nonsense,
Yeah.
but at least you have your own foot to step
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah.
You're not even supporting yourself.
Well, I mean, there's a big problem too in society now where, like you said, people can't support themselves, and yet they still
Expect everything.
have the claim to say, I need more, or I deserve more, or I want more, when
Yeah.
you don't, because you can't, like you said, you can't support yourself. That's like somebody who doesn't go out and look for a job, who doesn't contribute to society at all, says, I deserve money because.
I deserve this lifestyle.
Yeah, because I'm alive. And it's like, well, you don't. You're not being supportive of anything. You're not actually trying to better your situation. You're literally just mooching off of everybody else.
Yeah.
So you have no right nor claim, or however you want to say it, to say you deserve more when in truth, in all reality, nobody deserves any more than the next person.
And you can make the case because they are a leech. They don't deserve anything.
Yeah. And then, what's tried and true no matter what is you get what you work for.
At the yes. Yeah.
And if you didn't get what you worked for, you probably gave up midway. Because then you'd still be working towards it.
Yeah.
So
At the end of the day, you really don't have. You could claim misfortune and stuff, but if you're not doing anything on your end to change the misfortune, you can't blame
anyone else
but yourself.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, you got people who are, being handed everything, and they're completely okay with that. They'll acknowledge it. They'll be like, yeah, no, this is my dad's money. This is my family's money.
But at least they're not doing the hypocritical aspect of the scenarios we described.
And then you got, but then you also have the opposite end of the spectrum where they get handed everything and they believe they deserve everything just because they're handed everything at the beginning.
But at least they have more reason to think that,
That's true. That's just how they were basically programmed.
Yes.
So
no matter what, in principle, it's still something that shouldn't happen. But at least they have more reason to complain or have that mindset.
I have one belief, and that's just everyone. I believe everyone has not deserves, but has the right to be happy, so long as that's what they wish upon themselves. You understand what I'm saying?
The pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, that's one thing that I believe everyone has the right to. Is you have the right to be happy, but
you
cannot be handed it because
you have to pursue
happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to pursue it.
Yeah.
Dude, I really do love that saying in the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Life, liberty,
In the pursuit of happiness.
and that one word of pursuit is so key.
Oh.
Because as they said, everybody does have the right to have happiness in their life, to be happy.
Yeah.
But happiness more than anything else,
It's from within.
it can't be given.
Yep. Some people should really learn that, though.
I just want to end on this, is that a major issue is that we're creating a culture of entitlement when
absolutely.
going off of the point we made where it hasn't even been deserved. It's not like you do have rich parents and they set you up in this mindset to be entitled. You're a poor, fat, broke-ass motherfucker, man or woman, and you think you deserve everything.
Yeah.
And even worse, for it to be given to you.
At some point, it just becomes narcissism, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can't. The issue is that not all these people aren't narcissistic, because scientifically speaking, narcissism is much lower on the scale than what is being represented.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So if it's not a DNA thing, then the only thing, because it's the whole nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
If it's not your actual nature to be narcissistic, then what's the only other option? It's the nurture, and we're creating a society full of this.
Yeah.
And that's this. That goes off into everything we've been talking about for however long. The mindset of women, the mindset of men now.
Yeah. I believe nowadays, too, is where everyone's really having a trouble of finding common ground. Like, it's more so just, it's almost always just two extremes at war with each other. You know what I'm saying? No one can meet in the middle anymore.
Which is sad, because technically we live in a time where it should be less of that than ever before. Yet it's more.
And who is it you always see? You never see two people really talking on common ground. It's always two extremes pitted against each other. And
But I think that's what the higher powers want.
could be. Is beyond me.
Because if it's always the two extremes, they can never see what the higher people are doing in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say this. If the poor are always fighting with each other, they can never realize what the rich are actually doing.
That's true. Well, I guess it'll be a fun thing to watch as we get older.
And as long as the plan goes according.
Yeah.
But according to you, it'll be fun either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because either I get rich or I have a funny story to tell.
I'm doing everything in my power not to be the latter.
Oh, don't worry. The pressure's not on you. I give it to the universe, which is the best thing to do.
Lovely.
Yeah, I give
that
it
makes
to
me
you.
feel even better.
It does. It should. The pressure's not on, bro. I just let things happen and let the dice fall as they may, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like I said, given you the opportunity to do that for me is better than me. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? But I feel
With a much higher
yes, exactly.
probability.
And people buy lottery tickets every day, right? So I feel like my chance is better than that.
I respect that.
Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It wasn't meant to be, right?
It has to be. It has to be.
Oh, I believe it will be, but I just think it's funny. Like I said, I just think it's all funny, man. Everything's just, like I said, it's a game, bro. But you either got to play the game or you got to give it up.
Well, since you already stuck around, go ahead and subscribe. Newest video, most recommended, and our famous dick pic